Hey everybody, Ann Simpson here, and I want to let you all know that I am running for Town of Waxhaw Board of Commissioner. Please take a few minutes to watch my video to learn about what I believe the issues, challenges, solutions are to Waxhaw sustainability. If you'd like to know more about my personal background, I'd like to invite you to visit my Ann M. Simpson for Waxhaw Facebook page. Lastly, if you want fresh new leadership, a change from the status quo, and you share in my vision for Waxhaw's future, I would humbly like to ask for your support and your vote on Election Day, November 5th. Thank you. In the early 2000s, a conscious decision was made by the town of Waxhaw's leaders to become a full-service town, and they invited people to come on in. Since that time, Waxhaw's population has grown exponentially, and it is fast approaching 19 to 20,000 residents, which has strained Waxhaw's infrastructure, services, and the future financial sustainability of our town. The issues that I believe are most important to address are prioritizing infrastructure, fixing the zoning and codes, diversifying the tax base, and supporting a capital improvement funding strategy to pay for the much-needed projects. If you're like me, trying to get through the Highway 16 and 75 intersection or making a turn at Gray Byram, you're likely stuck in traffic. The rapid population growth has strained Waxhaw infrastructure, leaving the town trying to catch up. My initiative is to improve traffic flow, walkability, and connectivity by engaging and lobbying local, county, and state leaders to prioritize and obtain funding for needed infrastructure improvements. The current town of Waxhaw zoning and codes have allowed the downtown apartment complex to be built without requiring the developers to go through a planning board or public hearing process. By updating and modernizing our zoning and codes, we can preserve the historic character and charm of Waxhaw, as well as designate where and what can be built. Waxhaw receives 93% of property tax revenue from its residents, but for each residential tax dollar generated, the town spends $1.30 in services. By doing the math, the town is losing 30 cents on each residential tax dollar it collects. Simply put, the town cannot sustain its current service level without adding more taxes and fees, cutting services, or both, which is why in recent years there have been tax increases and vehicle fees. What's the solution? We need to diversify the tax base to decrease the reliance on the residential property tax dollar by forming public-private partnerships for economic development and attract appropriate businesses with a small footprint based on our updated zoning and codes, which will determine where and what can be built. With the financial sustainability of the town's day-to-day operation and upkeep in question, how does the town pay for the much-needed capital improvement projects such as roadways, sidewalks, parks, public works, and town hall buildings? I support grants, public-private sponsorships, and a funding strategy or model which provides the ability to pay for $15 to $20 million in projects without increasing taxes or fees. I will be going into greater detail on this strategy in another one of my videos. Planning for Waxhaw's future requires the understanding of how all these parts and pieces fit together and the impact on each other. Infrastructure and capital improvement projects will need money to be completed, and by supporting, committing, and adhering to a funding strategy, it will enable the town to obtain the money for these needed improvements. However, the reliance on the residential property tax does not generate money, since it is using more in services, which has led to the increases in taxes and fees. Diversifying the tax base requires attracting the appropriate small footprint businesses by fixing the current zoning and codes to designate where and what can be built, while maintaining the historic character and charm of Waxhaw. Understanding, tackling, and providing solutions to these issues will ultimately determine the town of Waxhaw's future sustainability. Waxhaw is at a crossroads, and your vote will determine our future. When deciding who you're going to vote for on November 5th, ask yourself, does the candidate really understand the issues and challenges facing Waxhaw? Do they have a solution? Do they live in the past or have a vision for the future? Past elections have been won with only 700 votes in a town with over 19,000 residents, and your vote matters. So if you want fresh new leadership, a change from the status quo, and share my vision for Waxhaw's future, then I'd like to humbly ask for your support on November 5th. Please vote Ann M. Simpson, Town of Waxhaw, Board of Commissioner.